Hi guys. Okay, so I am going to make a video and I'm going to be getting really raw and vulnerable for this one. I'm not sure why, I just feel like I'm supposed to share some of what's been going on the last couple of years for me. The last 2 years, year and a half mostly, has been by far the hardest season of my life for a lot of reasons. I'm specifically going to talk about some health issues that have come about. I am also going to throw a trigger warning out there because I'm going to be describing panic attacks and things of that nature. And I know like I have trouble handling some things like that. I'm just going to jump right in. In 2018, this is before I really started having issues. I wasn't that worried about anything. Pretty healthy, didn't really like going to the doctor for anything. And I developed this like tingling, kind of numbing sensation, kind of like when your foot falls asleep, like that sensation, but in random spots, only on the right half of my body. So, like like my right shoulder, this part of my right arm and hand, the back of my right calf, and my right thigh, like just randomly. And it was really annoying, but it didn't really concern me. I asked like my chiropractor, midwife, like some other um, healthcare people, and everybody's like, I don't know. Keep an eye on it. I don't know what that is. So I ignored it. Anyway, fast forward to December 23rd, 2019. I had my very first full blown panic attack. And truthfully, unless you've had one, you cannot understand the hell that it is. I mean, I've been through two very traumatic childbirths, and I would do that again in a heartbeat if I could never have a panic attack again. Panic attacks are like no joke. Um, but for the first one, I was like sitting down to eat. I was in my parents' RV, and it just hit all of a sudden, and like I didn't know what was happening, but like I suddenly couldn't breathe, and I started hyperventilating to the point that I was getting dizzy, and my arms and hands like locked up because I weren't getting enough oxygen. I couldn't feel them anymore. Um, I didn't know what was going on. I I kept trying to lay down, hoping that would make me feel better, but like everything in my body was screaming, like, no, like you can't lay down. You need to get help. Like something's wrong. This is an emergency. So I kept pacing. And then my dad was there, and he, come to find out, has dealt with panic attacks in the past too. My dad said, like, keep moving. It helps. Like you're gonna be okay. Just keep moving because that will help. So it helped to know, oh, this is a panic attack. Like I didn't know what was happening. Um, and it kept going. I think it lasted about 30-40 minutes, and then it started to subside. And after that, I was like, okay, it's been a stressful day. This is probably never going to happen again. At least now I know what this looks like and can better handle it next time. Keep in mind, this happened right before I was about to sit down and eat. Now, suddenly, my brain associates sitting down to eat with panicking. So it was very difficult for me to eat, specifically like sitting down and getting comfortable to eat. So I started losing weight really fast after this. This is 5 months after I had Acacia. Forward to January 7th, the day before my birthday, 2020. It happens again, and this time it won't stop. It goes on for over an hour. Terry took Aurelia somewhere. My dad was working out in the shop, and so like I couldn't function. I came out and I handed Acacia to my dad, and I was like, and he's like, okay. So I kept pacing. Terry got back, And I was like, I need to go get help. I need to go to the hospital. Something's wrong. Um, and this is not stopping. We loaded up to go to the hospital. Sitting down and being still during a panic attack is unbearable. So we go and we got to the nearest town. I was like, I can't stay in the car. So I said that we were driving by the police station, the police station and the fire department. I was like, we need to stop. So we stopped at the fire department. I like flying out of the car and go up to the fire department, and I like ring the bell, and they were amazing. They did their best to calm me down and get me to sit down and sit still, and they checked my blood sugar, and they did an EKG, and they said, your pulse is really high, but like those things will check out. Do you want us to, we'll drive you to the hospital. So they drove me to the hospital. At this point, I was like really lightheaded. I had trouble walking without blacking out. You don't find anything wrong except I was extremely, extremely low in potassium. The next day, my birthday, I ended up in the ER again because it happened again. And nothing, they couldn't find anything wrong this time at the ER. Immediately after that, I cut out coffee cold turkey, just like no more. I'm not doing anything that makes my heart rate go up. I cut out gluten because in the past that had helped me with some other issues. Like within probably in February, uh, my heart started acting up. Like I would just be relaxed and it would just like one beat pound really, really hard and then go back to beating normal. And then I would get like shivering, like freezing cold. I called the doctor and I was sent to the ER a couple of times for that. Couldn't find anything. The issues with the right side of my body that had been going on for a couple of years. After giving up gluten, that feeling went away, but I was still colder on the right side of my body than I was on the left. Like, I mean, I wasn't making that up. Terry could tell too. Like the right side of my face was colder than the left side of my face. It was bizarre. And at one point in the ER, I told them about that, and they actually did a CAT scan. I don't know. They scanned my head to check for any issues there, and they didn't find anything. This particular doctor at the ER suggested possibly that I might have MS, just the random sensations that don't really make sense. So I went to my regular doctor who referred me to a neurologist to check out the possibility of MS. The neurologist said, "No, I don't think you have MS." I don't see anything that points to that, so I didn't get any answers there. Not really getting any help at this point, so I continue to kind of alter my diet, do things on my own, adding supplements that help with anxiety. I got referred to a counselor and started therapy I went for 6 months. After a few months, I started doing a little better. But after my first counseling session is when like the world shut down because of COVID, and we had to go to like phone counseling, which that works too. It was just kind of frustrating that things were looking better and then everything shut down and we were all supposed to stay home, not go anywhere. The hospitals, you stay away from the hospitals, and it was really scary, especially for me. I was just scared of everything at that point. Fast forward to June 2020, things had been going better, and then slowly I started getting just chronically sick. Like every morning I'd wake up like cold, clammy, shaky, weak, nauseous. Sometimes it would get better as the day went on, as I would like eat more and stuff, but then sometimes it didn't, and it would just go on all day. And this went on for weeks and weeks. I thought maybe I have something, maybe I got COVID, whatever, but it wasn't going away. So I made another doctor appointment. They did some blood work and they called and said, "Hey, you have some of your tests came back positive for like autoimmune issues. So we're going to refer you to a rheumatologist." And honestly, while that you don't want to hear that, I was so relieved to hear something, some kind of answer. like, okay, autoimmune issues. This is something I can point to other than I'm just crazy. So I was happy to hear that. It was going to be like a month before I could see the rheumatologist. So I just dove headfirst into researching autoimmune issues and ways to treat those naturally. And I read a book called The Autoimmune Protocol by Amy Myers. And I read other stuff. I have a couple of friends that have autoimmune disorders who were helping me with suggesting diet changes and showing me things that they like to do. I was so thankful for that. So I, at this point, completely turned my diet around. I mean, I had already been making changes, but this point just completely altered it. I cut out, still going gluten free. I cut out caffeine of any kind. I cut out dairy, grains, sugar, like added sugars, legumes. So basically, what I could eat is healthy grass fed meats and vegetables and fruits. I started following this diet, and by the time I got to see the rheumatologist, they did the blood work, and the tests that were positive for autoimmune issues were now negative. And so the rheumatologist was like, I don't see anything, like any reason why you need to be here, which is good. But again, no answers. I was feeling much better after following this diet, cutting out a lot of stuff. I was no longer like sick every morning. I started feeling a lot better. Over time, I started getting better at this diet. So figuring out like easier meals, things I could get cheaply, but that would still give me more of what I need. So that helped immensely. I have recently started seeing a naturopathic doctor to just kind of fill in any gaps that I'm missing. Those kinds of diets are usually supposed to be an elimination diet where you cut the things out and then you slowly start adding one thing at a time back in to see if it affects you. Because of my anxiety, I've been terrified to add anything back in. This naturopathic doctor is working with me on starting to add things back in. I just, like the last couple of weeks, have started adding butter to things once in a while, just for like healthy grass-fed butter to add some healthy fats back into my diet. That is where I'm at now. I still struggle with anxiety, not nearly like it was. I haven't been to the ER since March of 2020. I see improvement. I guess the point of this video is just number one, to say you're not alone. I know I'm not the only one who's struggling to get answers from doctors. In the thick of my panic attacks and anxiety and feeling sick, it was just overwhelmingly the thought of I don't want to be here. I don't want to live feeling like this, and I don't know how to get out of it. And I knew I needed here. I just wanted life to get better. And it has. But another point I was going to make about being in the middle of this. Sorry. In the middle of this, there was an evening where I was just home by myself. My parents had the girls, and I was just crying and praying and just feeling really frustrated. And I was just like, God, why can't you just make me brave, make me have a strong faith and courage? Like, I know you can. Why can't you just do it? And I very clearly felt the words, I am. And it just hit me in the face that you don't get a strong faith and courage and deep peace from having a really easy life. You get them from trials. And after that, my mind kind of turned around to like, God's not done with me. He hasn't left me. He's refining me. He's has a purpose in everything that's happening. And that shifted my thinking a lot and helped me push through and not give up. I'm not, this isn't to say I'm cured, but compared to where I was, I am. I'm so much better than I was. I still struggle. My biggest physical struggles right now are I will still randomly get really, really cold and my fingernails and toenails like turn blue and then it'll go away. I don't know what that is. And then my biggest complaint physically is when the weather is shifting or my hormones are shifting, when there's like a change with the weather or hormones, I get this physical sensation. The best way I can describe it is like, when somebody drags their fingernails across a chalkboard, it's not, it's that physical sensation. So don't picture the noise, picture what your body like feels when there's fingernails on a chalkboard. It's that sensation, and it's like it'll last for hours, which is like really hard to function and makes my anxiety spike. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's probably just I've been living in fight or flight mode for a very long time, and I'm working to bring myself back down so that I can heal better. I hope that you know that you're not alone and that God is with you too. But there's a purpose for everything, and I know I'm going to be okay. Thanks for listening if you made it through this whole video. Bye.